Just ahead on CTV News.
Nearly 2 years after taking the job as the Prince George's County School Superintendent, Millard House II is out. And County Executive-elect Aisha Brayboy has wasted no time in picking a temporary replacement. I'm Katara Jones. I'll tell you how this all unfolded coming up on CTV News.
Plus, Kilmar Abrego Garcia has his day in court. And
more affordable housing is coming to Prince George's County. Private organizations and city and state governments working together to set a new standard for a more modern way of living. More on that coming up on CTV News.
Those stories and more on CTV News starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for June 13th. I'm Marquette Shepard.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. In an unexpected move, and with the school year coming to an end, Millard House II is leaving the Prince George's County school system.
County Executive-elect Aisha Brayboy has already announced his temporary replacement. CTV's Katara Jones is standing by with everything you need to know.
Millard House II, the man who was supposed to lead the Prince George's County school system until 2027, will be leaving his post effective next Wednesday, June 18th. The County Board of Education and House announced last night to part ways. During a press conference today, County Executive-elect Aisha Brayboy says it was evident to her that House leaving would be a possibility.
My team started planning immediately after we became aware of some of the concerns raised by our educators as well as our board members.
Those concerns came from the county's teachers union, which held a no confidence vote on House last week. With House stepping down, Brayboy moved quickly to pick a replacement. She chose Dr. Sean Joseph as the new interim superintendent of PGCPS.
Prince George's County, I believe, should be and can be a place where equity and excellence just are married, and we see students excelling. I mean, I think we've got all of the ingredients to be one of the fastest improving school systems in the nation.
Joseph has ties to the county school district, with previously serving as the deputy superintendent for teaching and learning from 2014 to 2016. He most recently worked as an assistant professor at Howard University. With Joseph taking over the reins, the search now begins for a new leader of the county school district.
There's a process that's laid out by the state that includes community involvement, and we will adhere to that. We want that. We want the community to embrace our next superintendent, and we want the next superintendent to embrace the communities.
House's departure marks the third superintendent to leave in the last 10 years. House has been with the school system close to 2 years. Teachers Union President Dr. Donna Christie says she's hopeful with the new change in school leadership.
He immediately started assessing, asking me what the problems are, already identifying possible solutions, and really speaking my language though, in terms of just understanding that the basis for solving any problem is rooted in the people who live the problem every day.
No word yet on what House's severance package is. He had an annual base pay of $345,000. CTV News will keep you updated as Dr. Joseph begins his new role as interim superintendent.
All right, Katira, thanks so much. Meanwhile, a mistaken deportation, a federal indictment, and a case that sparked national outrage. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is back in the U.S. and back in court. Abrego Garcia pled not guilty to human smuggling charges in a federal court in Nashville, Tennessee this morning. He was deported in March in what the Trump administration called an administrative error. His lawyers call the case politically motivated.
In this moment, there are thousands of Kilmar's fighting today to be reunited. And that is a shame.
That's right.
It is a shame that we have to be here today again.
To all the families still fighting to be reunited after a family separation, or if you too are in a detention, Kilmar wants you to have faith. He said, these dark times are where we're facing all the tribulations that God has put in our path, but keep praying and keep fighting.
Now, if convicted, Abrego Garcia could face decades in prison. And in separate court proceedings in Maryland, his lawyers are now asking a judge to sanction the Trump administration for what they call a flagrant disregard of court orders.
Prince George's County is seeing an upgrade in affordable housing. CTV's Benji Kaufman was at the groundbreaking near the Addison Road Metro today with more on how residents of the area will benefit.
$100 million have gone into a new apartment building here in Capitol Heights, with goals of giving residents affordable housing and easier access to public transit.
Right across the street from the Metro. It's along two major corridors in the state of Maryland, and it's not far from the Beltway, and it just made sense all the way around.
Park Place will include 11,000 square feet of retail space and 193 apartment units, with costs starting at $850 of rent per unit.
Park Place is coming out of the ground.
This venture is a part of the Blue Line Corridor, a project that aims to create a more modern and accessible lifestyle for Prince George's County residents.
Transit-oriented development gives folks the opportunity to live, car-free if they want, or just not use a car quite as much, and gives them mobility to jobs, to weekend activities, and more.
It's not just a house, it's a home, it's a place where...
Several private organizations made appearances at the groundbreaking today to show their commitment to the project and their collaboration with the city and state governments.
As well as $27 million in low-income housing tax credit equity.
It's a partnership with Banneker Ventures, with the state, I believe with private partners as well, and the county. And it is really the culmination of all of the transformative development that we expect to happen along the Blue Line.
After 7 years of budgeting and investing, Park Place began construction this week and is expected to open its first apartment units in September of 2027. From Capitol Heights, Benji Kaufman, CTV News.
All right, Benji, thanks so much. Meanwhile, Maryland's new 3% tax kicks in next month, and Comptroller Brooke Learman is giving businesses a heads up. It covers things like cloud storage, data processing, and tech support, and aims to help close a $3 billion budget gap. Critics warn it could drive tech companies out of state, but for now it's moving forward. The Comptroller's office just released guidance with final rules still under review.
And 4 men have pleaded guilty to federal bribery charges, including a USAID worker. Roderick Watson, Walter Barnes, Daryl Britt, and Paul Young were involved in a bribery scheme that spanned more than a decade. They defrauded taxpayers of more than $550 million. Watson, Barnes, and Britt will enter a 3-year deferred prosecution agreement, working with the Justice Department to carry out compliance and ethics measures for a reduced penalty and criminal charges.
Meanwhile, the Office of the People's Counsel predicts that Marylanders will see high electric bill increases this summer. Pepco, who serves nearly 600,000 customers in Prince George's and Montgomery County, have more than doubled their distribution rates since 2010. Delmarva Power and BGE customers have also seen distribution rates double in the last decade and a half. The high distribution rates will cause Marylanders to pay more money once usage increases during the summer.
The state's Higher Education Commission has granted more than $17 million to strengthen Maryland's nursing workforce. The competitive grant was awarded to 13 nursing programs across the state, including Bowie State University and Prince George's Community College. The money comes from the Nurse Support Program, which is designed to expand nursing education and training efforts statewide. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there will be nearly 200,000 registered nurse job vacancies each year through 2032 as qualified professionals retire or leave the field. And the National Weather Service has issued a flood watch for the D.C. metro area until tomorrow. Heavy rain is expected throughout the night, and June also marks the start of hurricane season.
And the county wants to remind residents that the best time to plan for a flood is now. Some safety tips when encountering a flood include avoid walking and driving through floodwaters and move quickly to higher ground.
The county also shares how residents can save up to 25% on flood insurance premiums. For more information on flood prevention tips and resources, visit PGC311.com. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Marquette Shepard.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come.
The organization is putting on a banquet for county seniors.
After the break, find out how long they've been doing it and what participants can expect. We'll be right back.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
Welcome back. University System of Maryland campuses are bracing for another 7% budget cut on top of the 4% already slashed earlier this year. Chancellor Jay Perman told faculty and staff the cuts could mean furloughs and layoffs at some schools, though leaders hope to avoid personnel actions where possible. The warning comes as state and federal funding tightens, and the Board of Regents considers tuition hikes up to 5% at some campuses to help close the gap.
There is one thing that your presidents and I agreed on from the onset, that we'd protect our people as much as possible as we made these difficult decisions, that we'd look at achieving cost savings apart from our personnel, and we'd look at new ways of generating revenue before considering any actions that directly harm our faculty and staff.
Meanwhile, a red flag is raising concerns at the University of Maryland College Park, questioning how the school is handling taxpayer money. Auditors found the university overpaid on some grant invoices, including one case where an hourly rate more than doubled what was agreed on. The school blames confusion over billing terms, and the audit also found the school awarded contracts without competitive bids, including a $2.2 million deal with a faculty-owned business.
The Board of Public Works will infuse more than $3 million in grant funding to local governments for investing in the great outdoors. And Prince George's County will receive $850,000 to create 2 comfort stations in Riverdale Park. The money is part of an initiative called Program 1 Space Local, which provides funding for the planning, development, and acquisition of public parks and trails or facilities. The grant is part of Maryland's long-term commitment to conserving natural resources and outdoor recreation opportunities. And a celebration of Black contribution to baseball will take place this Saturday. Black in the Day is an exhibit highlighting African-American players over time, from the colored league in the early 1900s to the modern-day players in the major leagues. The exhibit is featured at the PGCC Performing Arts Center with special guest, former Mets pitcher Dwight Gooden, in attendance. And that's just a glimpse of what attendees can look forward to.
There was a golden age between, say, 1966 and 1989 where Black American players were the dominant players in baseball. We've gotten away from that, and I just want to bring that back to another generation and let them know, despite what you see on TV these days, there's a legacy of greatness.
But I got a surprise for you all. You know I love my CTV. I have right now one of the rarest collections in the world that was just auctioned off in Louisville, Kentucky, about the colored league. Also, the Negro Leagues back in the 20s, in that era, they went to Japan and they played baseball there. And the Japanese professional team actually signed a Negro League ball player before Major League Baseball did. And I won't tell you no more, you gotta come and see us Saturday.
The event also features the Washington Giants, the first all-black baseball team to call the nation's capital home, even before the Negro League was started.
And this weekend, Friendship Charities Foundation Incorporated, in partnership with the Gamma Pi chapter of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, is hosting the 52nd annual Senior Citizen Banquet. During the event, hundreds of local seniors in Prince George's County will be served a 3-course meal. Seniors will also be treated to fun activities, including trivia complete with prizes, a contest to determine the oldest senior, and live singing by the members of the Gamma Pi Chorale.
Just the fact that we've been able to, impact so many people over the course of, over 5 decades. In the past, we've had people come in and we had a lawyer one year and came in and talked to them about preparing wills and estate planning. We've had nutritionists come in, talk to them about eating healthy at their age. We've had physical fitness people come in and show them exercises they can do to stay in shape. So, we try to have a little bit of everything. We'll have some games, some trivia for them. We try to keep it, hopping and exciting and interesting for them over the course of the 3-hour event.
The senior banquet will be held this Saturday at noon at the United Methodist Church in Capitol Heights. For more information on this foundation or to get involved with the Senior Citizen Banquet, visit their website at friendshipcharitiesfoundationinc.com. And while we're discussing events happening this weekend, we can't forget what today is. It's Friday the 13th, also known as the bad day of luck. But your fortune might just change with all these lucky days headed your way. First up, Krispy Kreme is offering a dozen original glazed donuts for 13 cents with the purchase of any dozen or 16-count minis at regular price. And if you really want to test your luck, if you play at any Maryland lottery game today only, you have the chance to win a $5 or $10 coupon. And still to come on CTV News.
A Prince George's County native is uplifting men ahead of Father's Day.
Don't go anywhere. Author Wade Woolfolk is here to talk about his new book, Brother, You Are Enough. We'll be right back.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. Innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions. Telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives.
Welcome back. Father's Day is this Sunday, but June is also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. A book written by a local author explores the challenges that contribute to the potholes and obstacles that can prevent Black men and men of color from reaching their potential for greatness. Joining us in studio today to talk about his book, Brother, You Are Enough, is author Wade Woolfolk. Mr. Woolfolk, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So this is your third book, correct?
That's correct.
All right, so with your third book being published, what was the inspiration for you to write Brother, You Are Enough?
So my first 2 books kind of focus specifically on spiritual, around faith and your journey and walk with God. And I wanted to do something a little different and focus on Black men and men of color specifically. I felt that as a Black man, if I did not do that in my writing, I would be doing myself a disservice. So that's how I sort of came up with this topic to give encouragement to Black men and men of color.
Now, growing up in a majority Black area like Prince George's County, I'm pretty sure you encountered a lot of Black men and men of color growing up. What were some of those lessons that you learned, maybe good or bad, from your upbringing?
Yeah, so definitely saw a lot, specifically from my father, just hard work, how hard work values, create certain values within your life that you can carry over into other things. How Black men, treat one another, how they're there for one another, support one another. Those are the type of the lessons that I learned growing up. So it was good, and that kind of information also went into the book as well.
It's historically in our community, we know in Black men it's maybe taboo or stigmatized to talk about your mental health or talk about your feelings. Can you tell us how in this book you help break down some of those stigmas?
Yeah, so there is a chapter within the book that focuses specifically on mental health. It's called It's Okay. And what I wanted to do was to just talk about how, there are certain things that can affect us, and whether it's our upbringing, whether it's how we grew up, our family life situation, certain trauma that might have taken place, these are things that can affect us. And, it may have us feeling as if we are not enough, but how we do that is to, get the help we need if we were able to do that financially. If not, try to do things that, such as taking the focus off of ourselves and putting it to others. That's a way of healing to help with the mental health that we're going through sometimes. So just wanted to talk about different things that helps to encourage men and Black men about mental health.
Right. And so the subject matter of the book is very powerful, but it starts with the title, Brother You Are Enough, a very powerful message. But the subtitle to me seems even just as powerful, From Downtrodden to Uplifted. How did you feel as though that was a message that you wanted to put as the subtitle of the book?
Yeah, so when I wrote the first book, it was right at the beginning of COVID. And the reason why I put it out was because I knew that a lot of people were hurting. And so when I went into writing this particular book, I didn't want to assume, that everyone is, okay or just, feeling average. I wanted to point out that there are some people who might be downtrodden because they do not feel enough. So in this book, it does provide some cultural reflections, some history about African Americans and our contributions to the country and also to the world. So I try to show through history how we have been downtrodden to a sense, but after reading this book, hopefully the reader will be uplifted.
A great message about uplifting. I know this book is catered towards men of color and their struggles, but I know that you've also been very outspoken about issues like breast cancer awareness and homelessness. Can you tell us about some of your efforts in those areas as well?
Yeah, so I was definitely blessed to serve as the ambassador for Prince George's County for 4 years for Real Men Wear Pink, which is with the American Cancer Society. So, attending various events, helping to raise monies for breast cancer awareness, research and prevention, as well as the various programs that the American Cancer Society supports. So it's very near and dear to my heart. Breast cancer is something that hits my family. So, there's a lot of purpose in that. As well as serving on a board, United Communities Against Poverty, which is well known within Prince George's County. They administer the Shepherd's Cove homeless shelter. So I had the opportunity to serve as a board member there and just listening to the various stories of people who have experienced a lot, whether it's domestic violence, what have you. So just ingrained into the community.
Mr. Woolfolk, thank you so much for your time today. And for more information on Wade or his books, visit his website at wadewoolfolk.com.
Okay, everyone, it's time for your Friday sports page. And Maryland Delegate Denise Roberts is giving students insight into how to succeed as a college athlete.
The game has changed in college athletics. There's so much more to being a student athlete than what you do on the field or the court. But luckily, local high school athletes have someone to lend a helping hand, as Maryland delegate Denise Roberts hosted the inaugural event of her company, Hustle HQ, last night. Student athletes and their parents from all over the county came to Wise High School to get some tips on how to prepare to play at the college level.
This event is the first of its kind here in Prince George's County, and it's ground zero for student athletes who are ready to level up. College athletics isn't just about performance on the field anymore. It is about branding, decision-making, resilience, and real-life strategy. And in this new era of NIL, revenue sharing, transfer portals, and personal brand development, knowledge is not just power, it's profit, and preparation is everything.
Among others who spoke at the event was Wise's athletic director, Jason Gordon, who touched on first being eligible to play at the college level.
You have to graduate from high school in 8 semesters. That's 8 semesters, 4 years. Completion of a minimum number of core courses, which is 16. You have to have a minimum core GPA average, no test score requirement as of January of 2023. The minimum core GPA for a Division I school is a 2.3. For a Division II school is a 2.2.
Another crucial part in being eligible for Division I and Division II programs is students having to take the core courses, some of which include English, math, foreign language, and social science.
The most important part is the student part, the student athlete. If you're not a student first, this NIL stuff is for naught.
Once a student athlete steps foot on campus, revenue sharing plays a big part in them being able to profit off of their play thanks to the recent ruling of the House versus NCAA. And a speaker at the event broke down the recent decision and how much it benefits players.
That is where you can now the students can directly receive money from the school to represent them, not typically for pay to play, but because of what they do on the field when it comes to television fees or whatever they have in marketing and ticket sales or whatever, they can get a piece of that. And because of what the NCAA has come across with this ruling, each Power 4 school gets $20.5 million with 40% increase each year.
It's definitely nice to see someone giving athletes the tools to thrive at the next level. And that wraps up your Friday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, thanks, Simon. And before we go, CTV would like to wish all of the fathers out there watching a very happy Father's Day.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Well, in some way. I'm not sure how yet, but I'm gonna make plans.
I lost my dad a couple of years ago, but you know, I always carry with me his poise and his belief in that he had for me and my sister, that we can actually do good in the world.
I don't know. I think the family is going to surprise me. Today is my birthday, and this weekend is Father's Day, so we'll see.
Plans on Father's Day. Well, we'll be celebrating my husband, who's a dad to our 2 great kids who are 12 and 7, and I'll also be certainly putting in a call to my own dad, who's an enthusiastic Marylander and supportive of me and my brothers and all that we do.
Yikes. All right. That's all the time we have. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend.